For coming out. How many people have never been here to GCS ballpark for a Grizzlies game before out of this crowd? Oh, we got a couple of newcomers. Well, I'll tell you what, you're in for a great time. My name's Rob Raines. I'm at STL Sports Page. Me and this guy over here, number 51, go way back. So we're going to have some good times here with some conversation, ask a few questions. So we've got Sam's going to have a microphone roaming around in the crowd. So make sure everybody can hear the questions. If you got a question, just raise your hand. Sam will get you with the microphone, and we'll get Willie to answer it. How about Willie McGee? I mean, y'all gave them. Still one of the more popular Cardinals ever to wear that uniform, and I think we're safe to say, even though the number's not officially retired, nobody will ever wear number 51 again for the St. Louis Cardinals. So we first of all have to give a big shout out and thank you to GCS Credit Union. They're the presenting sponsor of the Grizzlies, helped make all this night possible. So again, everybody's going to have a great time here tonight. I'm going to start with a couple of questions to Willie, so be thinking of some questions out there and then raise your hands and we'll get to you here as soon as we can. Like one of the things that I think is so important about the Grizzlies environment, Willie, is it's a really family-friendly oriented environment, and I know that family is something that's always real important to you. One of the reasons why you didn't get back into coaching here until a couple of years ago was so you could spend some time with your family after you retired. Is that, how can you kind of put all that into perspective, into words?
Yeah, that's accurate, and Midwest is family-oriented anyway. I mean, environment around here is family-oriented. St. Louis is family-oriented, and my upbringing, I was raised in a Christian family. I should say disciplined, and my mother and father were married until they died, till they left us. So, I mean, that's all I know. I learned to respect people. I learned to respect my job. I learned to respect everything. That's how I live my life still. That's how I go about my business. And I thank all of y'all for coming today.
Your job now, for those who don't know, Willie kind of is a roving instructor and a consultant in the Cardinals farm system. Came up here this morning from Jupiter, Florida, where the Cardinals have a couple of minor league camps and the extended spring training camp going on. And I think one of the things is, and I'm not going to try to put words in your mouth, but I suspect that you probably are enjoying your job now more than you thought you would when you first started out.
I've always loved baseball, and I've always loved giving back and teaching baseball. Even when I retired, I went home, and I tell everybody I coached fast pitch softball for, 10 years, 10, 11 years. Coached Little League. I helped at a junior college. So I've always been involved in it, and hopefully I always will have the opportunity to be involved in it. So no matter, I realize wherever I'm at, whether it's Little League, high school, as long as I'm around the game in some capacity on the field, I'm at peace with myself. So I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to put on a uniform again and go around and, and spread my experience that I had in this game. So my job now calls for me more is to just observe and talk to the kids about the mental aspects of the game, the approach to the game, playing it every day. Coming from high school, college, you don't play every day, and how to handle it, and the work ethic and the importance of having a routine every day, and basically what it takes to be the best you can be. So that's the part of it I enjoy.
What about the minor leagues now that you're back into it and you see different levels of the minor league system? What's changed? What's different now about the minor leagues than when you played? I don't want to say how long ago it was.
It's okay. I mean, baseball is baseball. Baseball hasn't changed. Everything around it has. The guys are bigger. The guys are stronger. The guys know. They think they know a little more than you. So everything evolves. But for the most part, you always have some some stars that shine. You always have some light bulbs that shine brighter than others. Then you have the ones that you're talking to them and you can just tell that they're just waiting till you get finished saying what you got to say so they can say what they got to say. And if you ask them, well, what did I just say? They don't they don't know. And it's like, okay, so you already know. That tells you a lot about that kid,
Your life changed, and if you think of questions, raise your hands and we'll get to with you. I just got a couple more here. Your life changed October 21st, 1981, which was the day you got traded from the Yankees farm system to the Cardinals for Bob Sykes. Still arguably one of the greatest trades. I don't think it'll ever be Brock Fabroglio, but it's still one of the greatest trades in Cardinals history. What do you think would have happened to your career and to your life if you hadn't been traded?
I have no idea, Rob. I think I would have been.
Well, I want a great answer. You would have been, Hall of Famer.
I'm going to say all that. I'll tell you this, though. If I knew that and could predict that, I wouldn't be here.
Who's got a question? Somebody out there, raise your hand. Sam's got the mic. There's one right over in front. Sam, over here. Down the second row. Third row.
Willie, Dan Ryan, lifetime fan. Love you. I'd watch you play tomorrow if you would. I was just curious, have you ever been thrown out at any level of a baseball game?
You don't mean trying to steal second, right? You mean a little bit more specifically, like, get the heck out of here?
Actually, somebody asked me that the other day, and I was in St. Pete, and the manager got threw out. And they asked me, had I ever got threw out? And yes, I did. I got threw out in, I think it was AA baseball with the Yankees. I had drag bunted to first base, and it was a close play, and he called me out. And I jumped up, and the next thing I knew, I slammed my helmet, and it must have bounced high as this pole. And the next thing I know, you're out of here. And I'm like, oh boy. I didn't know what to do because I had never gotten thrown out of a game. So it was a good experience, and I said it'll never happen again. Now that was many times, not one or two times, a few times I wanted to get through out of the game. A few times.
Who else? Got one. Back over here. Sam, where do you go? Over here. There you go.
I was just curious as to what was your all-time favorite Cardinals memory from playing with the team?
1982, Busch Stadium. The last out of the game that clinched the World Series championship. I always see that going in my head. The guys jumping on each other, celebrating.
When you see all the instant replay that's going on in baseball today now, how many times do you think about Don Dinkinger?
See, that's where I'm different. Once I saw Don Dinkinger was a good person. He came to one of the banquets, and he was generally hurt. He is an outstanding person. And I knew then that he did the best he could do that day. And I look at myself, I said, how can I argue at an umpire and I'm not perfect? I haven't hit every strike. I haven't took every ball for a ball. I haven't caught every ball. So I look at life like that. So Dinkinger, I feel for him. It's a big, it was hard to do, but I forgive him, because I know he tried. And I know we are going to fail. We're not going to do everything right. Just bad timing, but I know we're not going to do everything right.
Well, and it wasn't an intentional mistake, obviously. It was just a judgment error, spur of the moment.
Well, once I got to meet him and see him in person and see on his face that he really regretted it, yeah. Now there's some umpires out there that I would have believed that they tried to do it, but he wasn't one of them.
None of the people out here will tell anybody. Go ahead and name names.
No,
it'll be on Twitter in about 3 minutes. One of the things I think it was so special about that the decade of the Cardinals that you were here in the 1980s was the relationships that you guys had with Ozzie Smith, with Vince Coleman, with Terry Pendleton. Ozzie was the first guy that kind of took you under your wing when you came up here in '82. Can you talk a little bit? Maybe there's a story or two that you can share about you and Ozzie's relationships and how it's still going so strong. I know you're going to see him later tonight.
Yeah, well. It was, the timing was great. I had came up through the minor leagues, by myself. So I knew as far as playing baseball, I knew how to play the game. But coming into an environment like, St. Louis and, now you're instead of playing in front of 10,000 people or 4,000 or 5,000 people, now you're playing in front of 50,000 people and people are seeing you all over the world. So it was great to have somebody that, that cared enough to take you under their wing and like a big brother and guide you through, the first couple years of your career, and, then there's George Hendricks, Bruce Sutter, Bobby Forsch. At that time, you had just a great time to come up as a young player, and have the good fortune of being under guys like that were true professionals, that were experienced in the game, experienced in life, experienced in the business end of the game, and just a great time to come up. And Ozzie started off, and I thank him to this day, for the opportunity he gave me, to be able to learn under him how to carry yourself, how to be a professional, and how to go about your business.
Who's got a ball? So, one back there in the back, don't come over here in the front. Back up toward the front.
Hi.
Hello.
Actually, I have two quick questions. One is, when you made that big catch in the 82 series, did you feel like your career had changed at that moment?
I think game 3 of the World
Or
Series
was it
is what she's
just
talking
another
about.
game?
Actually, not right at that moment, because that was part of the game. And like I said, at that moment, being a rookie, I didn't know what I was into. This is the World Series, but it just felt like another game. And I'm thankful again, like I say, for the veteran players we had, because they kept you focused on what you were supposed to be doing. And when it hit me was after the game, and I told the guys in there, I got in by my locker, and I turned around to face the media, and I'm thinking it's going to be Rob Raines and another guy, like in singular. But I look around, and it's three rows deep, media from here back to the fella with the camera. And it's like, oh boy, all of a sudden it hit then what you're really into, and not because of the catch, but just the impact of the World Series. Then in the off season, you go over on vacation, you go like to Grenada, and you see these school kids 2 blocks away, and they're jumping up and down, and you're like, look, them kids are happy. And then you realize they're looking at you, like pointing at you, saying, hey, that's such a, boom, boom, boom. Then you start really thinking like, geez, okay. So the next year you're in the playoffs of the World Series, it's actually tougher to play, because now you know the impact of missing a ball. You know what I'm saying? Now you really know the impact. Whereas 82, I didn't have time to really think about all that.
I appreciated you talking earlier about your faith, your commitment to character, and there was something inside me, even though I didn't know that you were a person of faith that was committed to character. When I was young, I just kind of knew from the way that you carried yourself, and I want to thank you for that. It always seemed to kind of mean a lot to me, and I just wanted to ask you, the Major League Baseball lifestyle, I'm sure, is filled with temptations, and even temptations like just probably a temptation to be kind of self-centered, and I just wonder what measures you might have taken, in your career to protect that commitment to character and to your faith. And if you could talk a little bit about that, I'd be anxious to hear.
I believe everybody has a right to believe whatever faith they have, whether it's Muslim, it's Catholic, whatever your faith is, as long as it teaches you character, treat people the right way, trying to be as right as you can be about life. You know what I'm saying? I don't fault anybody for it. I was raised in Christianity. I don't say I'm a Christian every day, but I was raised in Christianity. But I try to live my life knowing that, I was raised with the fear of God in me. You know what I'm saying? That you reap what you sow. I feel that in life, the more good I do and the more things I do right, the better chance I have at being things good happening to me. And that's the way I always live life. And sometimes that works. I've been fortunate that everything I've been through in life, it seems like it always comes out on the good side, And I think that's because of the way I believe, the faith that I believe, and the way I was raised to deal with people and treat people. You never know. You could be a homeless person over there, and you see people, judge him just because of, but you don't know who that person really is or what that person's going through. Hello.
Mr. McGee, would you mind talking about the toughest 2 or 3 pitchers you ever faced through your career?
say Phil Negro, knuckleballer, Fernando Valenzuela, and that's pretty much it. No, I mean serious. That's, you know, these guys are just, they. Say for instance, the Atlanta Braves staff, right? I mean, these guys were great. They were great. If you put the glove here, they can throw the ball right in the middle of the glove. And they were smart enough to know that they don't have to put the glove here on the edge of the plate. They can put it a few inches off the plate. So they were tough all the time because I think that they were skilled and smart enough to know how to pitch, and they're going to take exactly what that umpire gives them until he makes them throw the ball, you know, in the strike zone where you can hit it, that type of deal. But don't take nothing from them. They were great, but they were smart also to know to throw that ball off the plate as long as that umpire is giving them that pitch.
Who else got a question? Red shirt right there.
Hey, Willie. One of the funnest things I ever watched in baseball was you and Vince Coleman pulling off the double steals. When you guys were on base, did you have a signal between each other as to when you were going to go for it?
No, my signal was just to watch him and follow him. The base he occupied previously to taking the other base, that's the base I go to. Then I watch him go to the next base, follow him to that base.
You know, that raises one question. I mean, stolen base is kind of a lost art in baseball today. Do you think a team could still win with the style that you guys had in the 1980s?
No doubt. No doubt. I really do. I think that if you get good pitching, and they play defense like we were able to play defense with the infield, especially we had, and able to play defense and score runs, score a few runs, definitely. I do. I think defense pitching, I think in every sport, defense keeps you in a game. It gives you a chance to win every game. I think, if you can catch the ball, get them out, you got a chance to win every game. I really do. In any sport, defense is big.
Hey, Willie, other than Ozzie Smith, who were some of the other players throughout your career that made a good impression on you?
There were a number. I mean, George Hendricks, you know, he was a tremendous, he helped me tremendously. Bobby Force, Bruce Sutter. You know, I didn't spend as much time with them off the field, but on the field during BP, they would come out and talk to me about things. You know, Bruce would come out there and make me laugh. I can't say some of the things that he said, but he knew how to get me to laugh, to loosen me up, you know, and then we'd talk. He would talk, we'd be on a plane. Force, he would talk to me about life, about business, about some of his experiences, good and bad. Bruce Sutter the same way. Even Jack Clark, he helped me a lot, and I mean, and then too, as a player, and as people, we learn a lot of what not to do just by watching other people do what you're not supposed to do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, and vice versa, we learn what to do by watching people that do the right things, so, I mean, then you have, everybody helps you a little bit one way or another. You have coaches, Dave Ricketts, he was like a mentor, a father, a coach, a big brother. He had the best approach to getting to you, to getting this point over, in a most simple, effective way. For instance, like hitting, when you gonna be you? He just say that, when you gonna be you? And it just makes you think, instead of a lot of stuff going in, use your hands. We go down to the cage, no bat, and just sit there and talk about life and just kind of sort things out. And when you get finished, it's like, wow, he's right, So, sometimes the best coaches are guys that's good at just mentally helping you out, talking to you.
Of all the things that you did in your career, the MVP, the batting titles, the World Series championships, what stands out the most? What meant the most to you maybe now, and if it changed a little bit after you retired, that you feel differently about that now than you did at the time?
What means the most to me is that the approach that I took to trying to be a major league player, and the simplest thing, which I saw from my parents: hard work, discipline, dedication, faith in God, whatever your beliefs are, you know, it doesn't, whatever your God is, you know, just the basic things. And to see that all that worked, you know, the hard work and the sacrifices, you know, and that's, I know by that working for me that I can tell kids to be the best they can be. Not necessarily you're going to be a major leaguer, but you can be the best player and best person you could be by doing this.
And I'm sure everybody out here has either got kids or grandkids who are coming up as youth baseball players, soccer players, hockey players, whatever. What's the one kind of thing that you'd like to share with them as far as motivating their kids the way your parents did for you, or to be the biggest, greatest help or greatest piece of advice you could offer?
Keeping it, especially with the kids at a low league level like these kids, keeping it fun. You know, you go out here in the little league systems, you know, I coached Little League 2 for a couple years, and I had to quit because of the fact I didn't like the way it was going. You know, they have incentives. The team that wins the division has the all-star team. So these coaches, instead of focusing on developing these kids, whatever team they get, making sure that these kids are the best players they can be by the time the season is over, they're more concerned about winning the division. So that kid, you know, you might have 11 players on a team, and I've seen teams have 11 players, and by the end of the season, they're playing with 9 because those last 2 players are outs. They consider them just outs. Instead of taking those kids and having the other coach take the kids that's pretty decent players, I would take those kids, and I wanted to see those kids hit the ball before the season was over. I wanted to see that kid catch a fly ball. Then I feel like I'm successful as a coach, you know, and I let these guys have the good players, but I'll work with them, and then you tell the parents, hey, go throw balls with them at home. You have to do it too and work with them. And so that was, I feel that's my job as a coach, is to take these players that I have and this team that I have and make them the best they can be by the time the season's over. I'm not thinking about winning the championship, winning this. It's just getting them the best they can be.
That's Willie McGee, everybody. Let me turn it over to Steve. He'll tell you kind of where we go from here.